Learning algebra with Ms. Rodriguez. By the end of this video, you will understand types of continuous functions. Previously, it has been discussed that certain relations can be functions. Because these are graphs, a way we can quickly tell these graphs are functions is because it passes the vertical line test. So these are considered functions. We also previously discussed discrete versus continuous. So discrete were a bunch of points that would be plotted and not connected versus continuous where it's basically all of the points connected. It's including all of the numbers on the number line system. These are special types of functions that are continuous. So we can focus on these three. So we have a linear function. So a linear function forms a line. That is why it's considered linear. And we can call the parent function y equals x. And we can multiply x by certain numbers, add or subtract x, and we'll get a variation of this line. However, it's still a line, so it's considered linear. A quadratic function is of y equals x squared, and that x squared is what really makes it a quadratic, and it creates this u-shaped, similar to linear. We can multiply x and then subtract numbers to create variations of this image. It can be flipped around in another direction, however it's still the same quadratic. And then we have an exponential. The exponential is known as y equals b to the x power. So b is just a placeholder for a number. B could be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, etc. As long as the variable x is in the exponent spot, it is considered an exponential. And these are the graphs that match each image. Now we can also classify a table as linear, quadratic, or exponential if we notice what the change is between each y value. So every time we're looking at a table, if we want to classify the table as a special type of continuous function, whether linear, quadratic, or exponential, we must identify what the change is. So I'm going to look at the x change because the x change should always be the same in order for me to do this. So the change here is we are adding 1 each time. So because we are adding each time, then I can go ahead and look at the y values. So my y value change is plus 1 each time. And when I say change, I'm saying what am I adding or subtracting to go from 1 to 2, and from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, and from 4 to 5. So in each case, I am adding 1. So because I am adding 1 in each case, this is known as a linear because it is the same first change. So for quadratic, I'm going to attempt to do the same thing. I want to look at my x values to make sure that it's the same x value change so that I can do the identification from the table. If my table is not correctly set up, where my x change is not constant, it's not the same, then I can't go ahead and use this method. So my x values are in fact the same. I am increasing by 2 at each time. So because I am increasing by 2, I'm going to go ahead and focus on my y values. So I'm going to identify my change from 12 to 2, my change from 2 to -4, my change from -4 to -6, and my change from -6 to -4. So when I look at my change, it's not constant. It's -10, -6, -2, and +2. So because the change is not the same, I know it's not linear, but it doesn't tell me anything about quadratic or not. And in order to identify the change for quadratic, you have to actually have to look at the second change. So how much are we changing from -10 to -6? Well, we are adding 4. How much are we changing from -6 to 2? We are adding 4. How much are we changing from -2 to +2? We are adding 4. So because we are adding 4 each time on this second change, that's what makes it quadratic. So it's the same second change that identifies whether a table is a quadratic representation or not, whereas linear was that first change. For exponential, there are actually two ways to kind of think about this. Because we are focused on the same change in addition or subtraction for both linear and quadratic, I'm going to continue using that method. So I'm going to try and identify if there is a change that is consistent throughout my y values here. So when I look at my y change, I actually don't have anything that is consistent. And if I try to take the second change, I also won't get something that's the same because of this decimal part. So whenever I do not have the same, like there is no change that is the same with addition and subtraction, I can consider it exponential for the purposes of our linear versus quadratic versus exponential. However, you can also think about an exponential by having the same change in multiplication or division. So if you find a pattern where you are multiplying by the same number or dividing by the same number over and over, that is also an example of an exponential. So in this case, because we're going down, I know that I am dividing by the same number over and over, and I know that's what's going to make it exponential. In this case, it's actually very complicated to see. However, with every change, I'm actually multiplying by the fraction 14 over 23. So again, you don't need to have the same change with addition or subtraction. We know that our table is an exponential. Linear is the same first change, where quadratic is the same second change, and exponential has no same change with addition or subtraction. But if you want to save yourself some time and you notice a pattern with multiplication, then you can consider that also exponential. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share with fellow educators or students.